All right, good morning, everybody. We are here for Thursday. I don't even know what day of the week it is right now. Thursday, October 15th, and we have a great full body routine. I'm just posting the warm up in the chat for you all. We are doing our normal 40-second on, 20-second off of movements. And there shouldn't be anything that we haven't done here before on these moves or at the gym, but I'm gonna go ahead and just redo the reverse burpee for us just to refresh everybody's favorite. And you're starting from a standing position. You go down all the way, stick your feet up, come up and jump. One of the keys of doing that well is getting that momentum when you swing your feet. And the closer your heels are to your butt, the better it is going to be in terms of getting you up and moving. To assist yourself or modify a little bit, put your hands down next to your hips as you're doing that. And then as we're getting into the workout later to scale up, we'll think about, some of us may think about doing that as a pistol style reverse burpee. Everything else, there's several different lunges in different directions, which we've done before, goblet squats, bent over rows, our floor presses, all things that we've done before. So we should have no problem doing this. I'm going to switch you through in different moves part of the way through, and I'll give you a little heads up on the 20 seconds. So let's take a minute or so just to gather our equipment, make sure you have water. I'm going to set the clock and we'll get it running. And also, if you have any questions at this time, that's always okay. I need to get a weight together. And we'll get the clock going. So we're starting with 40 seconds of the reverse burpees, just a nice, easy pace, just to get your body going and flowing and get blood flowing here. And then same with all of the loaded movements. So we're gonna go with our reverse burpees in 10 for 40 seconds, starting from a standing position. 2, 1. So we go down all the way, kick up, come up, and jump up the top. Keep going. Remember, swing those heels around, keep them close to your butt as you come up. Stand and jump at the top. And to modify, go ahead and use your hands by your hips. And 3, 2, 1, go. All right, now we are going to do some lunging, alternating forward lunges. Halfway through, I'm going to switch us to diagonal. So you can go ahead and get your weight ready. 3, 2, 1. So we're stepping forward, thinking about our knee kissing the ground. If that's too much for you, you can put a pad underneath your knee. You can also go part of the way down, just shorten the range of motion a little. And now we're going to step out diagonally, switch to diagonal steps. So turn and rotate between 10 and 2. We'll be doing these later as part of our strength portion of our workout. And rest. Next, we're going into our standard goblet squat. So if you have a dumbbell, you'll be holding it by the head, underneath, cupping here. And shooting our legs out, dropping those hips below parallel. You can take a little pause at the bottom if you want to work out. some mobility, and then standing all the way up. This is going to be combined with our lunges during the strength portion. So kind of like a mini little complex. Think about keeping your chest up, shoulders back and down. 2, 1. Rest. This warm up now, we're going to do reverse lunges. And then halfway through, we're going to switch to those curtsy lunges. So that's stepping back and crossing that midline behind you. All right, same thing. So you could also be doing this without weight, just to get your legs going. I'm just using a lighter weight for myself. And then switch to those curtsies, so stepping back and behind your front leg, crossing that midline. Five more seconds of this. Great. Next, we're going to go with our dumbbell kettlebell row. Just going to use a single dumbbell here. We're going to hold both heads. We're going to start by standing straight up. Now we're going to hinge at the hips, shoot them back. Good straight back. Head should be tracking with your spine. Don't be craning your neck or anything like that. And then squeeze those shoulder blades together at the top. We're going to do a little tempo work later with our core finisher, or our, not our core finisher, our finisher. Think about your breath. Breathe out when you're contracting. Breathe in, I'm sorry. No, mess that up. Breathe out during the contraction and in when you're extending out. All right, goblet Russian swings. You're gonna hold the the dumbbell from the top here, and we're just gonna do our normal Russian style swing. So hike it back between, fire up those hips and glutes, and quads pushing through the ground. Make sure you have a good handle on the head of the dumbbell. You don't want to send anything flying across your garage or basement or other location in your abode. And now you can also, if you want to, switch to traveling. We've been kind of doing those where you come up and then we'll go over those again later. We're going into our glute bridge floor press. So we're gonna get on the ground. Again, still just using one dumbbell. And with the glute bridge, shooting our hips up and doing our floor press where our elbows touch the ground. We're holding both heads of the dumbbell together and pressing out. Squeezing those glutes, thinking about our legs coming together, using our adductors, inner thighs, squeezing them together as well. And just pressing out, squeezing at the top. Again, breathing out as we're pressing, breathing in as we're coming down. A few more. And we are going into our shoulder press. And My timer is a little off, so just ignore the beep. We're going to get right into it. So hold both heads of the dumbbell up, and we're just going to start pressing overhead. Remember, get the full lockout, and make sure you bring your head through the hole here. So your biceps should be covering your ears at the top. Don't worry about that belt, just keep going. We're going to switch if you want to. You can add a jumping jack, or you can keep pressing. Four, three, two, one. All right. Sorry about those beeps. My timer didn't beep for one of our rest periods, so we worked a little longer on the glute bridge press. But nothing like a little extra work. So here we go. We have coming up a strength portion. So give me 1 second to get that set up into the chat here. And so we're going to keep our 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off going. And we're going to do two sets of routines, 5 alternating rounds each time. So the first set is kind of either a dumbbell or kettlebell complex, essentially. You're going to take your kettlebell or dumbbell, you're going to goblet squat, and then lunge, lunge, squat, lunge, lunge. And then each round that we change, we'll be switching the direction of the lunges. We might go diagonally, we might do curtsy, we might do reverse, so I'll call those out as we're going. So that'll be on the odd minutes. On the even minutes, we're going to do a goblet swing or a kettlebell swing. So just like we were doing in the warm-up, holding that head of the dumbbell, and we may also do a handful of switching it up a little bit. So we're going to do probably, and do it if you feel it. If not, keep it just as it is. But we might do some staggered leg here, where you just send one leg back. And then I did a little bit in the warm-up, those traveling. So you're down in the middle, stepping up. When you come down in the middle, your legs are open. And then as your bell comes up, you're stepping your feet together. And so those are a few that we'll play around with as we're doing it. Each round, I'll probably mix it up a little bit. If those don't feel comfortable, stick with the standard swing, okay? And then again, if you want to modify those lunges, something underneath, go no weight or body weight for the goblet and the lunges, that's totally acceptable. And then I'm going to give you a moment just to get your equipment. I'm going to go ahead and change the clock here so we're getting all set. And we have 40 seconds on of work, 20 of rest. And I will go ahead and talk us through the different options as we're going. So just take a second. I need a little sip of water. Bell is set up. So for the first round, it's goblet squat, forward lunge for 40 seconds. And then regular Russian kettlebell swings for 40 seconds. Or goblet dumbbell if you're doing that. Good to go? All right, 10 seconds. Starting with that first minute. In 3, 2, 1, go. So squat, lunge, lunge, and then you just keep flowing through. One, rest, 20 seconds. Now we're going to go into our Russian swings in 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Remember, hike it back. And all in the lower body. Popping the hips, squeezing glutes, locking out quads, pushing the ground away to get the bell up. And then follow it down, hike it back, and keep going. Five seconds. 2, 1, rest. All right, going back to our squats. This time we're going to do diagonal lunges. So still same goblet squat, but then we're stepping right to the to 2 o'clock, left to 10 o'clock. Rinse and repeat. 2, 1, go. So angle, angle. Down. Turn that back foot to follow with you a little bit and track in that same direction. 10 more seconds. 2, 1, rest. All right. We're going back to our Russian swings. I'm going to do a split stance, so I'm going to send my right leg back. If that doesn't feel good for you, keep them where they are. So same movement, getting that hike back. The introduction of the staggered leg changes the stimulus. So if your right leg is back, your left leg is bearing more of the brunt of the work here. You're also shifting your back leg from really hamstring heavy to incorporating more quads. 2, 1, rest. All right. Next, we're going back to lunges. This time we're going to sidestep. So goblet squat, lateral lunge, lateral lunge. 1, go. So squat, step, step. These lateral lunges are my nemesis. It's tough to really try and explode out of that lunge from the side. All right, back to our swings. This time I'm going left leg. Staggered back. In 3, 2, 1, go. Again, still thinking about driving my legs, popping those hips. Same hip hop we want for cleans and snatches. Ten seconds. 2, 1, and done. All right, 2 more to go. Now we're gonna do our reverse burpees. Reverse lunges on this round so it's goblet, reverse, reverse. You all are doing great. Go. So squat, step back, step back. Wouldn't be Squat-tober if we weren't squatting. 5 more. And done. All right. For our swings, for the 4th one, I think I'm going to go back to our neutral or standard Russian swing. 2, 1, go. You can mix up however you like. You could keep staggering again. Two, 1, rest. Now for the last round, we're gonna go goblet squat and then curtsy lunges. Remember crossing that midline, watch your balance. And rest. And then we're going to our last swing. So I'm going to go ahead and do a traveling. So again, in the middle, my legs are spread and I'm hiking back. And as I stand up, I'm stepping to the side. So here, bring that left leg in, split. Make sure you're protecting your back. If this feels awkward, just stick with that standard swing or stagger your feet. 10 more seconds. All right. So here we go. Great work. Grab a sip. Woo. And I'm going to get the next portion up for us, which is a great one. So for our strength, no, our WOD rather, I'm sorry. I just posted in the chat. Give me 2 seconds here. Okay, so climb the ladder. One of my favorites. Well, I don't mind this one. Let's just let's say that. Sometimes I hate climb the ladder, but but we're doing 2 movements: split jerks and then reverse burpees. And so the way this works is that we're using 1 dumbbell or kettlebell or a backpack or whatever you have that can give you a little load. And we're going to be doing this with 1 arm at a time. So you'll clean that weight up to your shoulder. With the split jerk dumbbell, your opposite leg goes forward. So I have it in my right hand. So I'm doing my little dip drive and shooting up. My left leg is forward. Front first is always the way to remember it. It took me 2 years to figure out. I could use the alliterative clue. Front first, so step your front leg first, back leg up, and then make sure before you start lowering that you are in full extension here. All right, so first round, you'll do 1 on the right, switch it over, do 1 on the left, lower, and then 1 reverse burpee. Then we stand up, and we'll do 2 on the left, or on the right rather, switch it over, 2 on the left, make sure you're all the way up before you lower, and then 2, and then 3, 3, 3. And just keep adding 1 rep each round as you go, all right? You could scale up your reverse burpees by alternating pistol legs as you're getting up, all right? So if that's something you can do, you can go for that. And then again, just make sure, because during the workouts especially, this is one where you kind of get going, you get it up, you stand, maybe you're not all the way in full extension, you start lowering as you're going through. So really think about hitting those key points in that end range of motion of the movement. All right, don't cheat yourself on that motion. All right, take a minute, because we really didn't warm up the split jerk. We have warmed up our shoulders and everything though. So just take a minute to get what equipment you're going to use and just do a couple on each side. And just to get that feeling, make sure you're getting that opposite leg forward.
So does each jerk count as 1 jerk?
Yeah, so it would be 1 right.
1, and then burpee, and then we'll do 2, and then 3. Okay.
Well, 1 and 1. Each side you're gonna do.
Okay. Okay. So it'll
It's
be
1 right,
like 1 set, 2 set, 3 set.
Yeah, it's 1 right, 1 left, 1 burpee, reverse burpee. 2 right, 2 left, 2 reverse burpee. 3 right, 3 left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so you're doing both arms. If you're alternating those pistol squats on the reverse burpees, that's just going to be as it goes. You're not doing 2 of them. All right, so make sure, again, that you are sending the opposite leg forward. So we're doing kind of two things at once. We're patting our heads in, rubbing our bellies at the same time. And then make sure you're getting that full end range of motion. I'm going to take a second just to get our clock running. It's a 7-minute work domain. So you're just going to keep going and accumulating as many reps as you can in the 7 minutes. Also think about 7 minutes of work is not a lot of time where you want to be taking a lot of breaks, but it's also longer than a sprint. So you're not moving as fast as you possibly can, or your fastest. You want to get a pace that you can hold for the 7 minutes that's also still challenging and taxing for you. So we don't want you staring at the weights for 2 minutes of the 7. Okay, everyone good? All right, here we go. Let me get my weight ready. RX is 50 and 35. You're going to use what's good for you or what you have at home. And good form. We're starting with one right split jerk, one left split jerk, and one reverse burpee, and climbing the ladder in 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. Get those legs under you all the way. Always front first. Hold that weight up till you're fully standing. Be real deliberate in your splits. On those reverse burpees, really get that momentum. Kick your heels to your butt. And then use your hands by your hips to help you. Good. Front leg first. Great. Good, Tim. Those look good. Steph, excellent on those pistols. As you're coming out of your reverse burpee, really think about swinging the momentum down towards the ground with your feet. Good. Opposite legs forward. Good, Maya. All right, y'all look great. We're almost halfway through. Keep it up. You're using your hands on your reverse burpees. Try and keep them as close to your hips as possible. Almost 5 minutes. Hang in there. I know the weight is getting a little heavy in the single arm. Really focus in on your form as you start getting fatigued. We don't want to risk injury or train our muscles improperly. Drop into that. Split a little lower. Incorporate your legs. Stand up all the way. Front first. Less than a minute. "20 seconds. Hang in there. Knock out a few more. Three, two, one, and done. Woo! Good job there, everybody. Whew. I didn't even work as hard as you, and I am feeling it. Oh, man. All right. We have one more workout portion here, and looks like we're right on time to have our 5 minutes of mobility as well. Let me catch my breath a second. I just popped the finisher in there for you to look at. All right. So, what are we doing? We're doing 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off of 3 movements for 3 rounds for a total of 9 minutes of work. And we are gonna do bent over rows with a single dumbbell or kettlebell. We are gonna do single dumbbell or kettlebell glute bridge floor presses like we did in the warm-up. And then we're gonna do a plank kettlebell drag, which I know you all have done before, but I will demo that for us. And we're gonna add a little sort of twists depending on what you wanna do. So, what do I mean by that? First round, we're going to do some tempo. So we'll have a 2-second pause at the top and then a 3-second lowering of the negative. So in our dumbbell presses or our dumbbell rows, we would be in that bent over position, hold 1, 2, and then lower 1, 2, 3. Hold 1, 2, lower 1, 2, 3. Same thing with our glute bridge. And then on some of the other rounds, we might play around with lifting one of our legs and going with only 3 points of contact or 1 point of contact. What that does is add more work for your core and your stabilizing muscles and your ankles and legs, tightens up all that mobility and joints there. So 3 moves are the bent over row, the glute bridge, and the kettlebell drag, which depending on what you have, and how big the weight is, you know, it may be tough to drag with one leg up and things like that. So you guys have to think about what's good for you. But in our plank, kettlebell is on one side of our body. We're in our plank. I'm reaching across with my right to move the bell from my left to the outside. And then same thing. So you're always reaching across with your hand to bring the bell across. And what we're really working on there is stabilizing our hips. So if there's anything that you're measuring or gauging, see how well you can keep their hips pointed towards the floor. If you're doing a lot of this, you want to work on stabilizing and keeping it as parallel to the floor as possible. Because our tendency when we're dragging would be to send our butt up and to turn. So we want to fight that.
Eric, are
Okay?
you literally dragging it on the floor, or is it leaving the floor?
I am kind of doing a little light pickup drag. It is somewhat touching.
Okay.
And that would also depend on how heavy the weight is too, right? Like if you have something that's pretty heavy and you need to kind of pull it across, that's fine. You're still getting that twisting motion and you're fighting that rotational pull is the purpose. So that would be fine. So you can handle that depending on the weight you're using. Any other questions about the strength or finisher rather? Everyone's got their weight. We're going to start with everything single dumbbell or kettlebell. We're going to start with the bent over rows. And again, we're doing that tempo, hold for 2 seconds at the top with a 3-second negative. In 10 seconds. Three, two, one, go. 2. Squeeze. 2. 5 seconds. Stand up with it. Don't hurt your back as you lower. Now we're going into that floor press. So we're going to be getting on the ground, putting that glute bridge up. Doing the same kind of motion with the tempo. So squeezing at the top, holding for 2 at the top, and then lowering for 3 seconds on the negative. In 3, 2, 1. Get into that bridge. Hold, pause for 2. Rest. And then lastly, we're doing that kettlebell drag. And this one, there's not really a tempo that goes along with it. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'm always thinking about my key points of performance for my core. Hips parallel to the ground. Navel going back towards my spine. As straight of a line as possible from my shoulders to my ankles. My ankles are going back. I am lightly picking up that weight, Susan, as I go across. Okay, next round. If you're feeling good, we're going to lift our right leg or send it back. So you can do this as a stagger, where your right leg is back a little bit like we did with the kettlebell swings. Or if you're feeling really good, you'll lift your leg up. So from here, my right leg will go up, And I'll perform my bent over rows on one leg. This you don't have to add a tempo to because it's hard enough as is. You could add that tempo if you like it though. Stand up with it first. In the glute bridge, what this would look like is that one leg would be extended. So we would basically be doing a single leg glute bridge and extending that right leg up. And again, adding a whole different level of stability. Five, four, three, two, one, go. Get up into that bridge. Try to keep yourself from wobbling too much. If you're on one leg, rest. And now with this one, if you're feeling good, you can try and lift your right leg. If the weight is too heavy for you to do that, you can hold it with one leg up. You can hold a plank. You could try for 2 points of contact. 3, 2, 1, go. So I'm going to try and go right leg up. I'm bringing my left leg in a little bit towards the center of my body. And that is tricky. Anytime you narrow the base of stability, which we did here from 2 feet to 1 feet, you are upping the intensity of the work. Whew. That was tough, and I felt it really heavily in my left hip flexor. All right, now we're going around again. Same thing, this time with the left leg back or not. You could step it back. You could try and keep it up off the ground. Or you could just stay with 2 feet on the ground. It's perfect. All good work. It's all good work. 3, 2, 1. So I'm going to stand up first, and then I'm going to lift my leg. Still thinking about really good position, hinging from my hips straight back. My head is in line with my spine. I'm not trying to, or at least trying not to crane my neck or overextend it. Adding that balance component. That is really good for your ankles. When I was doing PT, that was one of the moves, a lot of one-legged moves to get those stabilizing tendons all strengthened around your ankles, prevents them from rolling. Going back into our glute bridge here. With the other leg extended if you like. 2, 1, go. And you could not be here. You could have both legs on the ground. You could be modifying by not doing a glute bridge if you need to. You could add the tempo back in if you like the tempo and really work in that negative. Three, two, one. And now, last move of the finisher is that plank drag. This time I'm trying to do left leg up. We got 10 more seconds. And then 30 of work, and then a nice, easy mobility. In 3, 2, 1, go. So find your balance. Leave that foot there as a toe spot. Really, again, trying not to twist your hips so much is a challenge. 2, 1, and rest. Whew, we did a lot of hip flexor work this week, if you've been following some of the gym programming. All right. What are we up to? Mobility. We're looking great. You all did a great job so far. And now we need to take care of our bodies. So what are we going to do? We've been doing a lot of leg work in the hip flexors. Your hip flexors are probably tight if you're doing a lot of sitting right now too, or not as much movement as you've been doing. And so we're going to start with lizard pose. And basically, I'm going to just get you into it. We're actually going to spend 2 minutes on each side to really make sure we're getting those hamstrings and glutes. So we're going to get down into our lunge position. Our right leg is at 90, my left knee is back. I'm untucking the toes of my left foot and really sinking in here. And then I'm just going to go ahead, put my hands to the inside of my right foot and let my head hang and just kind of flop into this position. While you're here, what are you working on? You're breathing. So remember, we're doing 4 seconds in, a 4-second hold, and then 8-second release. Nice and controlled. This will help you slow down your breathing if it's still a little high from the workout. I'm also thinking about my hips, trying not to overarch my back in one direction or another. Thinking about tucking them forward a little bit. And that should really get you feeling that in your left hip flexor. Just stay right here. And I'm sinking and deepening into my hamstring, and it really hits where my hamstring meets my glute. You could also send the knee out a little bit and get a little bit on that adductor, the inner thigh. This is really good. I have a little anterior tilt to my hips, meaning my hips tilt a little forward. So if you think it's like a bowl pouring out in front of you, kind of. And so one thing that contributes to that are tight hip flexors pulling down on your girdle there. And so this will help with that. Get as low as you can. Some people are good. They can get their elbows down. Really just relaxing into it. 2, 1. As you come out of it, just go back towards your knee. We're going to switch legs. Same thing. Now our left leg is up in front. Our hands are inside or just a little in front of. Our right toes are untucked, so our laces are towards the ground. Feeling that in my hips. The other thing, watch out, don't let your hips cave towards that leg that's front. So it's kind of easy to lean to that side. Make sure you bring them in and keep them square. So fight with your outside hip to bring those hips under you. And then just relax into it. Settle down into that stretch. Feel that back leg going back. Feel your hamstring going towards the floor. Glutes towards the floor. You could also squeeze your right glute. And that will actually, keep going, holding this for 1 more minute. If you squeeze that right glute, which is the leg that's extended, that will actually trigger a stretch response in your hip because it's like an antagonistic muscle. So you'll actually get even a little further stretch by activating your glute back there. And you might feel it as you play around with that. All right, and then for our last one, a little dynamic. And we've done these before. I don't know why they're called Russian baby makers, but that's the name I saw. So we're going from our squat position. I'm holding on to my toes. My feet are forward, my knees are out. And then just going and extending into a forward fold. This is one of the best ways to increase your range of motion in the squat is to spend time squatting. And so on Wednesday classes, I've been telling people to just go ahead and get yourself sitting in a squat. Before we had a lot of technology and furniture, this was the way people cooked and hung out and talked, and loosens up your back. It's going to get that range of motion in your knees and hips. And we are done. One final counter stretch all the way to the sky. All right, gang. We did it once again. Hopefully this was a great hour for you. We covered a lot of different material and work today. You should feel great. Keep treating your body nicely. Hit any of those moves or any of the ones we've done that feel good throughout the day. Just kind of put yourself in some positions and work out any kinks. But thank you all for attending, and we will be back next week as always.
Thanks, Eric.
Have a
Good one.
You all have a great one. Good seeing you.
Good to be back.
Bye.
Take care.
Yep. Nice to be able to see you, Maya. Usually you're
I know. Not
back
anymore.
in the twilight. Tim's hogging all the camera glory, you know?
Take care.
All right, bye-bye.